Support for Sportspage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. By Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy, a home-owned and operated store that listens to its customers. Whether it's a hypoallergenic formula or a new exotic vegetable, Parker strives to serve the unique needs of the area. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. Straight ahead on this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll visit with Mules football coach Jim Svoboda about the longest game in UCM football history and this week's trip to Northeastern State. We'll also talk volleyball with the head coach of the 7th-ranked Jennies, Flip Piontek. His team leads the rugged MIAA. In our Sports Page student-athlete spotlights, we'll get to know a Mules football senior and a Jennies volleyball senior who get the job done in a big way in the classroom and on the field and court. So stay tuned. Your weekly inside look at UCM Mules and Jennies sports is next. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Sean Jones, and joining me to kick off the show is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Coach Svoboda, welcome back.
Hi, Sean.
Well, 63 school records since you arrived at Central Missouri. Let's make it 64 with the longest game in school history. It wasn't homecoming, it was home staying. 1 quarter on Saturday, 3 delays, 3 quarters on Sunday, 26 hours later, a homecoming victory. What was it like to be a part of that?
Well, it was, our kids, the first time we came out after the delay, the initial delay, they were excited about it. And we weren't on the field 15 seconds and a big bolt of lightning hit. And so you're right back in the locker room, and then, you're back out on the field. So, it kind of wears on you after a while, and it drug on. And so, we just made the decision that, if we had to go out there one more time and call it, that it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it to the fans, the kids. And, you're getting to the point where their last meal was at 9:30 in the morning and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's a lot of things to consider. It ended up turning out pretty well, and it was a good decision.
The 3 stoppages in play on Saturday, the 2-hour delay to the game to begin with, and after 1 quarter, which is what we got in on Saturday, you were down 10-6. Your team, though, overnight found a way to regroup, come out on what was a nice Sunday. Guys always want to play on Sunday. This is their dream. They got that chance. And you end up outscoring Central Oak 41-7 on Sunday. So somehow the guys found a way to regroup and refocus.
They did. I was really proud of our players. That's not an easy thing to do. You get yourself prepared all week for a Saturday game, and obviously they were highly motivated for that Saturday kickoff, and you really have to shift gears. And it's homecoming weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of distractions, and as a coach, you just got to trust that they're going to do the right thing on Saturday night and keep their focus. And obviously they did.
And the bottom line too, I think, from you and your standpoint as the head coach, you didn't kind of blow it out of proportion, and so the guys didn't blow it out of proportion. You just kind of dealt with it. It's Mother Nature after all. These are highlights from Saturday, by the way, with some rain falling and what you won't see, thankfully, because we wanted the safety of the KMOS crew as well. You won't see any bolts of lightning on these highlights, but these are from Saturday. You see the rain gear. There's a nice pass to Anthony Kirkwood early in the contest.
We were actually moving the ball pretty well, and we stumbled in the red zone, which is kind of unusual for us this year. Unfortunately, we got a couple of field goals at it, but we were confident that once we got it going, we could get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, as I said, from Saturday, it's 10-6 when these highlights wrap up. and that's 2 field goals from Aaron Jamison, one from 49 yards and one from 40. When you consider the weather that your senior from Cassville was kicking in, that was just outstanding.
Yeah, those were big because we marched it right down the field. We got in the red zone and stumbled down there, and Aaron came up big for us.
Oh, if only it would have gone this quickly in real life. After several hours of delays, the game's final 3 quarters moved to Sunday at 1. We're now looking at highlights in the glorious sunshine at Walton Stadium at Kennedy Field. There's a rocket screen to Kyson Ginnivan and a big play. You guys really came out clicking early.
We did. We did a good job of mixing it up. Kids executed well, and we got some rhythm, and I think got a good glimpse of what we can be like when we're playing at that pace.
There's LaVance Taylor with a carry. You got started facing a 3rd down and 1, your defense, and the ball for Central Oak near midfield. They got a 1st down, but then very quickly you got a takeaway, and I thought that really set the tone for the afternoon.
It was huge, and we've had some nice 3rd quarters where the staff's done a good job of adjusting. Kids have done a good job of being ready to play.
That's what 6'5", 240 pounds with some good feet can do for you. Colt Smith, the Conference Player of the Week, 74 yards rushing in this one.
Yeah, and we lost a few too. He was actually around the 100-yard mark, so he did a great job with his feet.
All-American David Cannon with the catch, 6-yard touchdown pass from Colt Smith, his first of 3 on the day. 13-10 at that point. Mules have a lead they will never relinquish. So Colt Smith really in a rhythm. There's Kevin Johnson fighting for extra yardage and a 1st down.
Yeah, we spread it around again. I think 11 kids caught passes, so that's what we want to do.
Good play action by Colt, who throws it down the field for another big gain, 329 yards. That one to Clayton Cooper, the sophomore from Springtown, Texas.
That was a big play. That was like 2nd and 20 or something.
2nd and 27. You were 1 for 1 on 2nd and 27 plays in this ball game. There's Ron Ree Lloyd spinning into the end zone for a 46-yard touchdown, 3 plays. And you score that with 9 seconds left to go up 23-10. Now what we won't see is Josh Birmingham, a 73-yarder for Central Oak to take us into the locker room, 23-17. Central Missouri with the lead. Really the only big play of the day for Central Oak on offense.
Yeah, and that kid, it's just hard to bottle him up. He's a very talented player, very strong, great balance, and so for the most part we held him in check.
Good route there by Cooper. Getting to the outside and getting open.
Kind of busted out, and it was good to see that. He's an awful talented player, and we got him a few catches.
And there you see some Hardy Mule fans in the background too, as Colt Smith, every time you think he's going out of bounds, gets a few extra yards. Your thoughts on that as the QB coach, your quarterback staying in bounds? I guess the good news, he's 6'5", 240.
He's got a pretty good sense of when to slide, and he's a big, strong kid, and I don't really try to mess him up. He's doing a good job with it right now.
Nice run here, LaVance Taylor into your living room for the 34-yard score. That made it 33-17.
Yep, showing good bursts there. We did a good job of adjusting because they kind of changed their scheme on us and went to a 3-man front and were blitzing a lot.
That's another thing we're not seeing. They threw every trick in the book at you guys.
They did early, and that's one of the things too. You got to give them credit. They're trying to win a ball game, do whatever they can. They're coming into a homecoming game, and at our place, and so I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, very impressed with Nick Bobick and the staff, the way they handled the situation, having to stay an extra day. And there you see another touchdown. 2nd for Ron Ree Lloyd on the day. That one comes with 10:45 to go in the 4th, puts the Mules up 40-17. They look like a well-coached team. I guess it's just welcome to the MIAA with the record they have based on the skill and the way they're coached.
Yeah, really good team, not a good record, and they got a lot of new faces. They'll be a force to be reckoned with, there's no doubt.
And there you see Corey Washington getting some big carries late. He'll score a touchdown late in this one as well. Colt Smith, though, 329 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes, and he runs for 74 yards, 403 yards of total offense. The Conference Player of the Week for the 2nd time this season. Really a breakout game again for Colt.
It was. Really proud of him. He's done a good job in terms of the turnover situation, showed great leadership, and obviously if they're going to blitz, they run the risk of him outside the pocket.
Corey Washington got that final touchdown with 2:04 to go. Extra point was good. We'll get to that in a minute. 47-17. Central Missouri, the winners in this one. We gave you the numbers on Colt Smith. We gave you the numbers on the game. It was scheduled to begin at 1:30 on Saturday. It actually ended at 3:12 on Sunday. So it was quite a weekend. You'll never see that graphic again, hopefully, that has 2 dates for one game. But the Mules handle it and win it 47-17. And Aaron Jamison, 4 field goals, 49, 45, 40, and 27, plus the 5 extra points. He scores 17 points. What a performance from your senior kicker.
Great performance, and start off in the in the inclement weather too. And he came up big, because that at least you get it gets frustrating. You get down there with your offense, and that allows you to put some points on the board and not have it be a loss in that situation. So that was good. Another
game without a turnover for the Mules. That's 11 straight quarters without a turnover, which is exceptional.
It is, and that's the stat we talk about. It's the biggest stat, it's the most relevant stat, and so it's not something that we've really harped on. I think every kid that plays football from junior high on knows that you don't fumble the ball and throw interceptions and things like that. So kids have been pretty focused, and we're just executing better right now.
We're going to knock on wood again, but it's the biggest stat of the season so far to me as I look at this team. You talk about ball security, ball protection. Those are things that coaches talk about all the time in football. We've lost 1 fumble all year.
Well, really knock on wood now, but
that's impressive heading into week 8.
Really, since in the last couple of years, we've done a great job with fumbles, and of course, as many times as you throw the ball that we have in the last 3 years, that's probably going to be a bigger stat, the interception deal, just simply because you're doing that more. But kids have done a great job with the fumble situation.
Football coaches are notorious for having a structure. Everything is structured. Leading that many young men, having a staff that big, everything's done at the same time each week in preparation. You guys didn't end this game, as we saw, till 3:12 p.m. on Sunday. I know that had to throw things into somewhat of a tailspin. How did you handle it? How did your staff and your players handle it?
Well, that's a good point. Structure is important, and guys knowing where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and so forth is important. But at the same time, football is such a dynamic sport, just the game itself, and you have to have the ability to adjust on the fly, and really the mental toughness part of it kind of separates teams, and so that's something we really talk about. This is just another one of those things you can't control. As a coach, you talk to the players about what can you control. You can control your effort, you can control your execution, you can control the level of enthusiasm that you play with and so forth, but there's a ton of stuff you can't control, and if you dwell on that, then your mind's not where it's supposed to be. So this is another one of those things, but it was a challenge, probably a little more for the players. Coaches just had to stay up a little bit later a couple of nights, and we're back in rhythm right now.
I know the guys were really looking forward to the huge homecoming crowd. Obviously, with the lightning delays, every time you have a delay, you lose more people who head home after homecoming. The guys made the most of the situation. We had a great group of fans who came out on Sunday to watch the game, but when you look at their performance on Sunday, considering the adversity that they went through to outscore Central Oak 41-7 in those 3 quarters Sunday, was really pretty impressive.
It was, and I think the fact that we really had a great day, it was really a nice day, I think that probably lifted their spirits. It's like, okay, we got this behind us, look at the day we got to play, let's go out and have fun, and boy, they did.
Sometimes games run together in your mind. It's already happening for me, my 13th year here calling the games. It's hard to remember what year it is and that game. I'll never forget that homecoming. I don't know about you.
A lot of us won't, that's for sure. I have to go back to when I was played in high school my senior year. We had really crazy weather all year long. We played a homecoming on Monday. We played another game half on Friday, half on Saturday. But since then, nothing like this, that's for sure.
And now it's on to Tahlequah, Oklahoma to take on Northeastern State. First ever matchup as MIAA members between the Riverhawks and the Mules. And it's so funny, these two teams, Central Oak and Northeastern State, both from Oklahoma. They joined us from the Lone Star Conference, and in a lot of ways mirror images in terms of statistics. Great players on this team at Northeastern State. Last year they were in the Mineral Water Bowl as an independent. The year before that they won the Lone Star Conference North. They have played the toughest schedule in the country to this point. They're 0-6, and honestly, a dangerous 0-6 team, especially playing at home.
They are dangerous, and the point you made about the similarity with Central Oak is legitimate. They have some outstanding skill kids. They've played, with the exception of a kind of a blowout against Northwest, which got out of hand early. They've been right in all their games, and you don't have to watch them on film very long to know that they have some guys that they have some difference makers out there, and they have an extra week to prepare. So they have our kids' attention. That's the upside of watching film. You can definitely see that it's another one of those teams that's a good team, doesn't have a very good record, and can be explosive at any time.
fall break at Northeastern State, so I imagine most of their students will be at home, so there may not be a big crowd down there. And ironically, in Division II, we like going on the road and facing a hostile crowd because it gets your team fired up and gets their attention. You're going to have to create your own energy on Saturday in Tahlequah.
It's a good point. We have addressed that with the team, and it's kind of like, let's go down and put on a show for ourselves, and try to take our game to the next level if we can. And that's really where our focus has been. That was what was so gratifying about last week, was that we wanted to add some intelligence to what we were doing. Our kids have been playing with passion all year long, but we've had some situations where some penalties and some things have really gotten in our way from taking our game to the next level. We ironed all those things out, and I think the real mules are starting to emerge.
A win Saturday would be your 6th. I know that's not the main goal, but it does mean a winning season for Mules football, which would be obviously 3 for you in 3 years, and the 14th in the last 15 seasons for the program. Not the end goal, but a nice one.
It is, and this program has a history of playing outstanding football, and we obviously want to continue that. We have our sights set higher than that, but that's a legitimate deal that, half the teams have a losing record in the country every year.
You get a lot of great kids on this team, and we talk about some of them each and every week, and it's always fun to get a chance to visit with them on the post-game show, and also to see some of them here on Spotlights. We've got one tonight, Brett Ginn, a guy who's been a contributor to this program for 4 years, a guy who's a starter for you at the safety position. 3.98 GPA. That's what he graduated with.
Who gave him an A-?
Yeah, exactly. That's what Kathy Anderson and I said. I want to find the professor that gave him the B. BSBA in finance. Graduated last May, starting strong safety for the Mules football team, working on his MBA. I mean, this is a guy that's going to be something. It's incredible.
It's what it's all about, academic All-American. He's a kid that has done some charity stuff overseas. I mean, if you got a daughter, that's the guy you want to marry, her, and so couldn't be prouder of him. Tough kid, represents the school and the program in the best way.
You've got a lot of great kids, and unfortunately, the thing with football is often our fans only get to see them with their helmets on out there playing. But you talk to a Colt Smith after a game, for example, just one example. I mean, what a bright young man. I mean, he's a grown man and so intelligent and such a great leader. And it's fun to see these guys who are going to go on after football and have a very successful career. A lot of it shaped here at Central Missouri.
Well, that's what you hope to do as a coach, and we talk about that with our coaching staff about wanting to give these guys something beyond just the game of football, and in the end, that's really the important thing. And I'm confident that these guys are going to go out after their experience at Central at a great university, and hopefully in our program take something with them that's going to make them productive contributors to society.
Had a chance to visit a little bit via social media with Aaron Jamison after the game, and there's another guy. You look at Colt and Aaron, your 2 players of the game for the homecoming game, and there's another guy just going to have a bright future. Super person.
No question. These guys, they're solid people in every aspect of their lives, and you just know. And it's fun to, I still hear from kids that I coached back in the 80s. What things that they're doing and differences that they're making out there, and it's very gratifying.
Still a lot of big goals for this football team, too, and it's hard to believe, but we are down the back stretch of the season. We go to Tahlequah, then home on the 27th to host Nebraska Kearney. Senior Day, then on to Fort Hays State to wrap up the regular season. Hopefully not to wrap up the season, but 3 big weeks left.
3 big weeks left. Starts with number 8 down Tahlequah in a couple of days. That's what we're going to focus on, and hopefully we'll make some improvements and get better.
We'll see you in the Sooner State. Good luck.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sean.
Coming up next on Sportspage, we'll get to know Mules senior safety Brett Ginn, and our spotlight on the Shawnee Mission West product is next here on KMOS-TV.
It's the final debate of the 2012 race. President Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney will tackle foreign policy issues at Lynn University in Boca Raton, Florida. It's the last opportunity voters have to compare the candidates side by side before the November election. Watch PBS NewsHour's live coverage and post-debate analysis here on your PBS station.
Years ago, the decisions of 3 men, JFK,
Kennedy's head is in a vice.
Khrushchev,
Khrushchev is now feeling very vulnerable.
and Castro.
Castro is getting angrier and angrier.
pushed the world to the brink of nuclear war in a battle to see who'd blink first.
All three believed that once the war started, there would be no stopping it.
Cuban Missile Crisis. 3 men go to war.
Cluo writes about weird things. Spontaneous human combustion, the flying saucers. This poem has no highly trained Russian look-alike. This poem never receives specific instructions. This poem has nothing better to do. So often what begins to tumble out in notes or notebooks would sort of gravitate toward this idea of what does it take for certain people to believe and believe in that helps them along and make it one day to the next.
Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And welcome back to Sportspage here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. In this segment, we shine the student-athlete spotlight on Brett Ginn. He's already graduated with honors, and he's working on his MBA while also patrolling the safety spot for the Mules defense.
In past years, we've always had some big-time playmakers every year come through the team, and each year we reload basically. And on defensive side, we have a lot of veterans who've been playing a lot of football for us, and we feel like that's a big strength for us this year. As on a lot of the starters on defense have been playing, started 20-plus games, and we also have a bunch of young guys coming through who are getting their reps up and help contribute to us. Compared to past years, we're focusing a lot more on stopping the run first and creating them in a third and long situation, so then we can kind of put more pressure on them in coverage and put blitzes in on third down. Individually, I don't set a lot of statistic goals. I just want to do whatever I can to help the team win, and as a team, as long as we win, I'm happy with my performance. As long as I play well, if it's 100 plays, 50 plays, or 20 plays, I just want to help the team whatever way I can win. To get to the next level, there's always something you need to improve on each week. From week 1 to week could be 14 or 15. We need to improve it any little thing we can. And the biggest thing as any good team is be consistent and to put teams away when you have the chance to. The last few weeks we kind of let teams hang around a little bit longer than we should have. We should just step on the throat and just finish them early in the game, and that will put a lot less stress on the coaches. I started playing football in Arlington, Texas when I was 7 years old, full-on tackle football. In Texas, a little bit different. Playing football is kind of more of a religion down there. And I know when I was 7 years old, we went through a combine. All the new players went through a combine, and I think there's like 15 teams, 16 teams in the league, and you got drafted as a player. So that was kind of a fun experience as a 7-year-old kid. So that's how I got started. And I've been playing ever since through the high school ranks. And literally, I've always been blessed with great coaches, all the way up to college now. And it's been a huge blessing in my life to what player I'm at now. Well, UCM, first thing off, there's a great academic school, and I've always been a huge believer in you need to be good in academics and in school to be successful in life. Football has always been fun, and I've loved doing it, and if it went to the next level, I knew it was going to be fun, but I always knew it was a tool to get an education. That's the first thing I loved about this school. Second thing is the football tradition here. Even when Coach Fritz was here, they brought me in, and I loved the way the program was and the stuff that was capable here, and we're blessed with great facilities, great uniforms, and it's my favorite colors too, so I love that about it. I have great support from my family, from my parents, step-parents, my grandparents. They've always been very involved in my life. And but my biggest motivator has always been my siblings. I'm the oldest of 4, and I love them a lot. And just looking at them at my games and all the support I get from them makes me just want to be better for them. As a football player, but just as a brother and as a person. So whatever I do in the future has always just been to to make them proud. You know, I don't have a lot of superstitions before a game, but I always go out a little bit. I get here about 30 minutes early before everybody else, and I go on the field, kind of just walk the field, kind of mark our territory and just stretch a little bit. And I listen to the same music I've listened to since high school, just some Dallas chopped and screwed music, just every day. And then that's kind of my only pregame ritual I really do. Coach Clem has been here since I've been here. I've known him for 6 years, you know, and Coach Jeter, he's been here since they've been D coordinator. He's been here for 3 years now, and I have a great relationship with all my coaches. And I love being around them. It's not just for football, you know. Anything they need me to help with, I help them, or anything I need help with, they can help me as well. My teammates, they're like my brothers now. You know, anything I do is always involving them, whether it be going to watch the football games, going to eat dinner after games, just anything we do, just movies, anything we do is always together. It's just like brothers now. I want to thank, you know, my family first. You know, without them, I wouldn't have, you know, had this life I've had. They've supported me since I was a little kid with my dreams and playing football, and they supported me in college. You know, anything I needed, if I needed some extra money, I needed just some extra support, deciding what major I wanted to be, they were there. And it's just thank my coaches for bringing me here and giving me a chance to play and just play the sport that I love. And my teammates, you know, they're always there for support, and they're always there just have fun, and we love playing with each other.
Ginn was a first-team academic All-American last season and graduated last May with a 3.98 GPA in finance. At present, Ginn is starting at safety for the football Mules and working on his MBA. Indeed, the future is bright for Brett Ginn. Coming up next on Sportspage, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll visit with the head coach of the MIAA leading Jennies volleyball squad, Flip Piontek. All of that's on the way when Sportspage continues right after this.
I'm Mark Wahlberg. Look what we discovered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
This is an absolute little jewel of American furniture.
We came this close to tossing it in a dumpster.
Nobody in our family wanted the rug. At the last minute, we threw the rug over the furniture just to keep the furniture dry.
You're kidding.
No.
Don't miss these appraisals and many more next time on Antiques Roadshow.
I choose to be independent, to blaze my own trail. I choose what to create, how to organize, and where to share.
Choose Red began as an inspiration and has grown into a way of life. Ever since the Choose Red campaign began in January 2011, students have been at the heart of the effort. All of our ads feature current UCM students. Who better to tell the UCM story than those who have experienced what it means to choose Red and the opportunities they've had because of that choice. In August of 2012, the office responsible for development of the campaign held open auditions in the Elliott Union. University Relations staff members met more than 100 talented students who made the decision to choose Red. The students shared their stories and their talents with us in hopes of being able to become part of the official Choose Red campaign. UCM students who audition will have the chance to be in any number of Choose Red campaign materials, such as TV commercials, 30-second radio spots, web videos, billboards, brochures, ads, and numerous print publications. Even Central Man stopped by to add to the fun and excitement of Choose Red Auditions 2012. With so many students willing to be part of the campaign, it's no wonder a record number of students have once again decided to choose Red.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And once again, thanks for watching Sportspage here on KMOS-TV. Coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with Jennies volleyball coach Flip Piontek. But first, let's take a look at how all the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And it all started with that score right there. The Jennies soccer squad battled 19th ranked Central Oklahoma to a scoreless draw, a stalemate, stymied last Thursday night at the South Recreation Complex. Great battle there between two of the top teams in the league and region. And then Saturday, the Gins were leading Northeastern State 2-1 in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, but that match was canceled due to lightning, so you had to go back and start over at zeros and play Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And the Jennies came away with a 1-0 victory. Freshman Morgan Hartzler from out of Kearney had back-to-back shutouts in goal, and she was named the MIAA Soccer Athlete of the Week. The Jennies are now 10-1-3 overall. They are 6-0-2 in the MIAA. The Jennies golf team wrapped up the fall portion of their first season with a 4th place finish at the Truman Bulldog Classic. Freshman Kayla Temple from out of West Plains finished in 13th place to pace the Jennies. The 6th-ranked Jennies bowling team opened their season last weekend with a 2nd place finish at the Newman Mid-States Invitational in Wichita, Kansas. Natalie Jimenez led the Jennies with a 5th place showing, averaging 188.2 for the event. She was named to the all-tournament team. The 10th-ranked Mules golf team finished in 2nd place at the 20-team Missouri Western Central Region Invitational. That was held Monday and Tuesday at the St. Joseph Country Club. Sophomore Cy Moritz from Owensville fired a 73, 72, 71 to lead the Mules with a 4th place finish. The Jennies volleyball team is 17-4. They are 9-1, leading the MIAA and ranked 7th this week in the AVCA Division II Top 25. Joining us to talk it over is Jennies volleyball coach Flip Piontek. Flip, welcome back.
Thanks, Sean.
Well, since our last visit, you've won 14 of 15 matches. Talk about the key to that successful run.
Which one you want to talk about, the 14 or the 1? As for coaches, it's really unfortunate for the players because we end up concentrating so much on that one loss when, you say 14 out of 15, well, that sounds pretty good, yes. Mm-hmm. So for us, the recovery last night, playing a good team in Emporia, being able to bounce back after the loss on Saturday to Washburn and play well last night against a good team. I think that really helps us set up for the remainder of our conference season because there'll be some good matches coming up.
Well, since our first visit back in early September, one of the things that's been neat to see, and really it's just something you've seen throughout the history of this program, is taking some veteran players and then throwing some youngsters out on the floor surrounded by those veterans and watching them emerge. And there have been 3 or 4 Jennies here during this run that have really stepped their game up.
And not all of them freshmen either. Mm-hmm. You take a kid like Hillary McCormick, this is her 5th year of volleyball, and she's been to Arkansas and then completely took off some time off at Kansas to finish her undergraduate degree. She's a graduate student. This is her 10th semester of school, and for her to play such spotty last year, she got a few games here and there, but for her to actually play as well as she's played, she's really allowed some of the other players, like the freshmen you're talking about, to not have so much pressure on them. And so, I congratulate Hillary as much as anybody else in terms of freeing up some of the pressure on the younger players to allow them to do what they can do, and they're doing a very good job.
Yeah, you got some freshmen that have stepped in, and they're big-time players for you.
They really are. The 2 freshmen, really local players too. We have a young lady, Annie Riley from St. James Academy, which she lives in Lenexa, and it's just in Overland Park. It's a short trip over, and I got a kid from Blue Spring South, Carly Soika, and the 2 of those players, and actually they had played on the same club when they were juniors, not when they were seniors, so they're very familiar with each other. So I've seen them play together before, and when you see them and you recruit them, you wonder, you very rarely get 2 players from the same club team, and you just say, wonder what would happen if we get those 2 kids on this team, and they're doing a great job.
All right, 14 of 15. Let's talk about the 1. Tough loss. Homecoming Saturday night. Great crowd, great atmosphere. Number 7 Jennies, number 4 Washburn, and it comes down to set 5. And what a tight match. I don't know, you played 10 times. Each team might win 5. Unfortunately, they win this one.
And the funny thing is as disappointed as you are as coaches, and you go back and look at the film, each game got better and better, and the total, they won 3 games to 2 and beat us by 3 total points in all that time. So, golly, that was so good, such a good match. And the other minor consolation is that, Jessica Fide, number 15 for them, was the National Player of the Week. She was phenomenal. I'm watching her on film, and I sent a little text message to the coach at Washburn. I go, if this kid isn't the National Player of the Week, I'm going to send her an award because that's how good she was. And she was terrific. And if she's not just quite that good, I think we win that match. So, it was a well-played match. She had a terrific job. She carried the team the last 2 games. It was credit to both teams. You hate to have one team lose, but as long as you're going to lose, if you lose to the player that wins the National Player of the Week award, you have a little bit of a good feeling coming out of that.
And I will tell you, our fans have been treated, going back to a couple of regionals, a couple of regional finals. this one the other night when the Jennies and Washburn get together. What a high level of college women's volleyball it really is.
The next thing, Beth Rupp, she called me up because Saturday was a horrible day. There was lots of activities going on, and she said, Flip, would you mind if we did the homecoming king and queen? I'm going, heck no.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I go, no, you bring them over. I'd love to have them because, for us, have as many people the chance to get to see the volleyball, and so you end up with some fraternities and sororities there that wouldn't have normally been there. And then after the coronation ceremony, some left, which was okay, but some didn't. Some stayed, and so the crowd was listed at over 1,000. And even after the coronation ceremony, there was still a lot of people there. That was awesome. I thought that was terrific.
Yeah, it really was a nice call by Beth and Emily Berkseeker from that area campus activities, and to make that call to move it when the game was canceled, to move it over there, and really, as we said, made that event even better. So your team then bounced back. You had to face another really hot team last night in Emporia State at the Multi. They came in winners of 6 straight, a 15-win team coming into this one, but your team put together a very solid effort.
Oh, yes, we did. And actually, I thought it was a very balanced effort, too, in terms of our contributions. When we have 3 or 4 players get more than 10 kills in a 3-set match, that just tells you that the ball is getting to the setter's hands in pretty good shape, and then she's able to distribute it to people. Those are some of the things that, we've come to depend on. That was the very last kill of game 1.
333 hitting attack percentage in the first set.
But when Julia is able to get the ball in her hands like that and distribute, right now as the season's gone on, she's been able to count on more and more of the players to put the kill away or take a good shot to put the other team on the defensive, so that that right there wasn't a very great swing by Carly, but the fact that the ball was in play and allowed us to follow up with another shot, that's what we want.
And Brady's playing some really good middle for you too.
And I couldn't have asked for what a great block. As a 5th-year player, you really when a player's here that long, you really have some affinity for that player, and you have some, you develop a relationship that I don't think will end when she leaves here. But you couldn't have asked for a better student athlete at this campus in terms of her relationship with the community. She's been in Elisa Collier's class for 2 or 3 years now, and her mentoring of the young players on our team is phenomenal. So, she's a terrific student, and to watch her grow over the 5 years is really rewarding as a coach.
And she reminds me of a pitcher. We're going to see that in a little bit. She can hammer it home. She can throw the changeup over the net. She's got quite a repertoire in her volleyball game. But Julia Bates right there, great set to Taylor Goodness. To have Julia such an athletic setter, that adds another dimension.
And so it's confident in what she's able to do, and the fact that like Taylor is the 3rd person we put in the middle in terms of that connection requires a particular kind of relationship between the setter and the hitters, and so she's got Brady in the middle and Hillary in the middle and Taylor in the middle. They all require different kinds of people.
And there's Carly Soika. She's going to be a special one.
I hope so.
She's on her way. Let's put it that way, right?
I sure hope so. Well, you like you said, you look at those young kids out there, and Hillary, that she's done, Brady's done, but the team leader, Julia, is back. And you got a bunch of younger players that are going to be here. That's the end of game 2. I remember that swing too. If you look at the players that we have here, some of the kids we're trying to redshirt through. My young freshman from Nixa, she came in with an injury and was kind of behind volleyball-wise, not physically-wise. She did an awesome job recovering. Her learning curve has been so great this fall that I'm looking forward to getting her on the court next fall. So I have lots of hope. I guess always you have hope.
That's awesome. I just love that shot there. A little touch over the net from Brady Penniston.
Well, she's just using her brain to play volleyball. For her, she's able to see there is a block there, and the set's right in front of the block, and she won't hit it into the block. That's what you're supposed to do. We'd rather her hit it, but guess what? Sometimes you can't. And then if she can make that smart play, and then the fact that she hit the ball before Carly, the middle blocker was late getting out to Carly because she had to stay with Brady.
Look at that. That's the changeup right there. Just take some off of it.
So Brady was so successful that she requires the middle blockers to commit to her, which then allows. Well, you've got the Brady highlights here. We only had 4 aces last night. I've seen 2 of them so far.
And she had 13 kills to pace the attack, but you had a couple other players in double-figure kills too, including Hillary McCormick right there.
Including Hillary. Hillary's come on very, very strong the last 3 weeks, and so she's really allowed us to open up our offense a little bit.
Great set there too. That's the thing. Julia has been, probably as we talk about all these hitters, which is natural, Julia has been really good. Put up some big numbers for you.
And actually, as the season goes on, and recently we've been playing better teams, and playing better teams allows us to extend some games and get a little bit better statistics. When you have statistics that are per game or per set, and the longer the game is, the better your statistics are. But by playing stronger competition, Julia has been able to showcase herself a little bit more. When you, as a coach, you really want to say this is the seniors team, but it's really not. This is Julia's team. It was Caitlin Pancratz's team before. Now these last couple years, it's been Julia's team, and that's a terrific set right there. That's
not much you can do about that as a defense.
No, unless the defender has jumped before she sets it, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, these highlights make it look like a 3-0 game, which it was last night. And I think if you're Emporia, a very good team, you're probably thinking that figures. We ran into this team at the wrong time.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Emporia came in winning 6 in a row. They don't make very many mistakes, and so the match was actually pretty clean. But I just thought we played very well, and I thought when I talked to the players this afternoon, there are certain things that we kind of key on, and so when you get to 24, we want to score 24. Get that 25th point, the first opportunity we have. Against Washburn, we had a couple of set points and didn't score. Against Emporia last night, all 3 games, 24, very next time, 25, whether we were serving or passing. So that's very important for us in terms of how you handle that opportunity to close out the set.
And your team has had that chance because, as usual, with the history of Jennies volleyball, you faced the gauntlet at the beginning of the year, some of the top teams in the country, and you're still facing them in this conference. But you prepared this team by putting them in a lot of very close matches that using a baseball analogy again, you're down to your final strike sometimes, and you still find a way. This team's been battle-tested already.
This is the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm hoping.
Do you want to play I wouldn't want to play the St. Louis Cardinals right now. Good grief, look at last night. Guy, Matt Carpenter hits a home run. You got to be kidding me.
I know, and that's kind of, in a lot of ways, the tradition.
Yes.
Coach Svoboda talks about it when he was at Northwest, trying to build that here, that we expect to win because we pass all these All-American banners and all this. Your team has some of that, and you're trying to continue to develop that with these youngsters.
And a lot of wiser coaches than me suggested that I was a little adventurous in the beginning of the season. At that second, you're playing on your third day, you're 3-3, going, whoa, what have I done? But those players were recruited to come here with the expectation of playing that level of competition, and I really feel like there's a benefit long term when you play that caliber of team that won't allow you to just win by standing out there. And so, for us, that challenge now as we go through the second half of the schedule. So now we're going to see all the teams for a second time. How we handle that the second time through will be very important. Truman next weekend they're playing terrific ball. To beat Kearney at Kearney, I hope they run out of good juice before we get there, because the way they were playing, they've been playing recently, is very solid.
Yeah, Kearney was the #1 team in the nation when Truman beat them. Missouri Southern is your next opponent. That's October 23rd, 6 days away. What are you doing in the 6 days between matches in the season?
If you would look at our injury report, they have the weekend off. We have a short practice today. We'll see what we end up with tomorrow. I got a couple of kids sick. I got some flu. I couldn't have picked a better weekend.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a perfect opportunity for us just to kind of get a little bit healthy and get well, and then come back and play that second half of the MIAA schedule.
A lot of matches left, 8 of them left, 5 of them on the road. So you got some big challenges coming up on the road, including, as you mentioned, a trip to Truman, a trip to Kearney, just some really challenging matches down the stretch.
And really, for us, just that last road trip, going to Kearney on the Friday night and then having to turn around to play Hayes the next day. Hayes it's a very difficult place to play. They're a very hard, scrappy team, and we're playing at 11 o'clock in the morning to get it in before the football game. So for us, leaving Kearney, Nebraska, getting to Hayes, we'll get in late, get up early, and try to get on the court. That will be a very difficult end to the season for us.
And as we tape this interview, you have, I guess, a half-game lead in the MIAA, which is a new-look MIAA. But, boy, you look at Washburn, Central Missouri, Nebraska Kearney, and Truman. Any one of those teams could capture this crown before it's over.
Anyone. And then, to me, there's even more of an equalizer in that previously just the regular season counted. And so you you scheduled and you planned based just upon winning the regular season. And now, I've talked to the basketball coaches. What do you do different when there's another tournament? It's a postseason tournament. So, do you put everything in there? You try to win the regular season to get the highest seed so you can host the postseason tournament if you happen to win the quarterfinal matches, or are you more concerned with being in the top 4 so that you can just host the first match? It's very difficult because you're going to end up facing the exact same teams you just said, and then in some semifinal or final of the conference to get the automatic bid, the automatic qualifier. My guess is that the winner of the conference will probably have a pretty good chance of hosting the regional tournament. So there's still a lot on the line.
And then the region with right now 6 of the top 7 teams in the nation in the Central region. So wow, it just doesn't get any easier. Great job so far. Best of luck down the stretch. We'll talk to you again soon.
What are you going to do for me next? Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Sean.
In just a moment on Sportspage, we'll get to know Jennies senior outside hitter Lisa Moore, an outstanding student athlete on the Jennies volleyball team. That's next here on KMOS-TV.
This fall on PBS, they had come to the far edge of the Great Plains in search of a new beginning, in the last place in America where a family could claim a homestead and build a future.
We had the best crop that we had in 1929, and everything was looking up.
A sea of grass, once the domain of Indians and buffalo, disappeared beneath the blade of a plow.
I saw the whole country transformed in the sunset glow. All the brown prairie turned to gold.
But then it was as if the land rejected them. The rains stopped and the winds came.
We saw this cloud coming in, black dirt. And I'll never forget my grandmother. She said, "You kids run and get together, the end of the world's coming."
It came like a black wall, a tide of destruction that crashed over the broken plains, choking the life out of everything in its path.
You never really escaped the dust. It always found its way in, and that's, I think, what drove people crazy.
Some would pull up stakes and move on, but most stayed, always looking to the promise that next year would be better.
We were just too selfish and we were trying to make money, and it didn't work out.
Ken Burns tells the story of a generation that was buried and what it took to dig out. The Dust Bowl.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And I started volleyball in 5th grade. My friend asked me to play, and I just started on a little small league, and then I started playing club volleyball in 7th grade, I believe. And then I played in high school on the freshman team, and then went up to varsity my sophomore year. And then I came to UCM because Coach Martin at the time started talking to me, and I ended up coming here. And this is my 5th year. I love them. I started out with Coach Martin as my head coach, and then my 2nd year it was Flip, and I love them. I love Chrissy, Flip, Taylor Linnebach right now as a GA. They're awesome. My relationship with my teammates is good. I think we're all really meshing well. We do have a lot of newcomers. I think we have 5 freshmen that have come in and a couple of transfers. So it was a new team, but I think we're meshing really well. I think we needed to work on from last year is more leadership. Last year we had a lot more naturally born leaders, and this year there's 2 seniors, me and Brady Peniston, and it's not like in our blood to be leaders, so we kind of have to bring that out, and then a couple of juniors are helping us with that leadership, and then freshmen can always step up too, so the leadership's a big deal this year, and I think we're doing a great job with it. For practices, I am a left-handed player, so whenever we play a team that has a left-handed player, I'm usually on the other side scrimmaging against the starting team, and then that helps us to be prepared for that team that has that lefty, so they know how to scrimmage against that lefty. So that's one of my main parts during practice. I would describe my style of playing as relaxed, I guess I would say. Excited. I do get excited and cheer a lot. I guess I would be more of a cheer. There's no superstitions that I have, but as a team we do some things, like in the locker room we'll do a certain cheer before the game. And then I guess Brady and I, the 2 seniors, we do have a little handshake that we do before every game. So that is one superstition that we do have to do. Do I consider myself a leader? I would say a little bit in different ways. Maybe not as vocal on the court because I don't get as much playing time, but to the freshmen, I guess I kind of help them out to be more enthusiastic and cheering on the sidelines. So I do lead a little bit of that because they don't know that on the sidelines you do need that cheering and stuff because the people on the court can hear you and need that. So I do lead that a little bit. Growing up playing volleyball, I did have my coaches. They definitely inspired me. They were always there for me and showed me what I could be. My high school coach was a big one. He just showed me my potential. And I started out as freshman team, and then whenever he moved me up to varsity, he gave me a lot of confidence by showing me what I could be. Well, as my 5th year, it's not as hard as the beginning of being a student athlete. In the beginning, it was a little bit harder, managing my time and having practices 3 hours a day and then having away games and missing a lot of classes, but I've gotten used to it. On the buses, it's easier because you can do homework on the bus and you have to force yourself instead of at home when you can just put it back and put it aside. So it's getting easier as the years go by. I really like playing for UCM. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. The coaches, like I said, have really, even though I do not get to play very much, he's given me scholarships in other areas because of my academics. Like he shows that maybe volleyball isn't everything to me, but he shows me that I'm good in other ways, so he gives me that confidence instead of just being sad that I don't get much playing time. So I do have goals for our team, of course, to make it to nationals and win nationals would be great. I mean, we went to nationals last year, so it's definitely a possibility. I'm double majoring in CIS and management, and I plan on working at Cerner Corporation. I have a job there as a PSC, which is a professional services consultant, and I'll just be traveling and showing clients how they use Cerner solutions. And I'll start that next
summer. As you can see there, the senior from Lee Summit is a terrific teammate, and she personifies the term student athlete with a 3.8 GPA in computer information systems and management. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as Sportspage rolls on right after this.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Cluel writes about weird things. Spontaneous human combustion, the flying saucers. This poem has no highly trained Russian look-alike. This poem never receives specific instructions. This poem has nothing better to do. So often what begins to tumble out in notes or notebooks would sort of gravitate toward this idea of what does it take for certain people to believe and believe in that helps them along and make it one day to the next.
Hi, I'm Chuck Ambrose. Join me as I host Central Missouri Tomorrow. In this episode, we take the show on the road as we visit Missouri's Katy Trail State Park. We'll hit the trail and ride a popular section between Sedalia and Rocheport. Along the way, we'll visit with government leaders and a business owner and hear firsthand the impact Missouri's largest state park has had on the people and communities along its length. Join me for Central Missouri Tomorrow.
Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sportspage. Before we wrap up this week's show, let's check out our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies. And we start with the Mules football team. The Mules are 5-2. They'll travel to Tahlequah, Oklahoma to take on the Northeastern State Riverhawks in MIAA action this Saturday. Kickoff set for 2 p.m. Saturday from Doc Wadley Stadium in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. We'll have the broadcast for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, 90.9 The Bridge, and via the internet at warrensburgradio.com. In other MIAA games this week, 18th ranked Washburn is at Lindenwood, SBU's at Nebraska Kearney, 5th ranked Northwest is at Missouri Southern, 16th ranked Missouri Western is at 7th ranked Pittsburgh State. The other team ranked 18th this week, Emporia State, is at Truman State, and Lincoln is at Fort Hays State in the MIAA TV game of the week. The 7th ranked Jennies volleyball team will have a few days off before hosting Missouri Southern in conference action next Tuesday night at 7 at the Multipurpose Building. The Jennies soccer team will travel to St. Joseph Friday night to take on Missouri Western. On Sunday, the Gins will battle Northwest Missouri at 1 o'clock in Maryville. Next Thursday, the Gins will host Truman at 7 at the South Rec Complex. And the UCM cross-country teams will take part in the MIAA Championships on Saturday in Maryville. The races begin at 10 a.m. The Mules have won the last 2 MIAA titles. Best of luck to the Mules and the Jennies. And with that, we conclude this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show. We invite you to tune in again next week to learn more on the UCM Mules and Jennies. In the meantime, visit our website, ucmathletics.com, for the latest on Central Missouri sports. Until next week, for our entire crew, this is Sean Jones saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page right here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Support for Sportspage is provided by Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy in Warrensburg. Parker's works hard to supply grocery staples and spices to cook Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Indian, and Thai cuisine. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience for everyone. By First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.